So I've been in the Philippines for the last 6 months. It's been really interesting. Uh, it's actually quite a nice place to be if you have a foreigner or Western body, white skin body, because the majority of people there, they are interested in, they don't see a white person very often. So when they do, they're interested to learn about my culture, my uh, ways of life, etc., etc. And so it's a really good opportunity to share with people um, the different things that I practice and uh, share tools. Because even in the West, I teach uh, meditation techniques. I teach yoga, asanas. I teach uh, different fitness classes. I try to share with people ways which they can better themselves and better their quality of life. So uh, to have more people, more percentage of the population that's open to receiving the knowledge that I'm attempting to share to give to others uh, is quite nice. It's quite it's like a warm reception. Like being with your family. You love to be around your family because they warmly accept whatever you have to bring to the table. So it's like that, in Asia. Uh, the Philippines, they also majority speak English or some English, so even easier to get around than other parts of Asia. Although Asia in general generally has that openness or receptivity towards individuals that are coming from the West to live there, work there, etc. Now I'm back in the sea of white people, and they're not really interested in my culture or things like that because I'm just another grain of sand on the beach, which is a very humbling experience as well, and it still has its benefits, and then there's the clean air, clean water, so there's a trade-off, I like I like both worlds, East and West. So anyways, about the Philippines, it's an amazing country, and the people there are very, very much further advanced in how to take care of each other and how to be happy than we are in the West. We're a bit more isolated. Uh, People have more tendency for mental illness, loneliness, depression, anxiety, things like that. And then the people who are trying to give the solutions to those, the majority of the population doesn't really want to hear it because actually voidism, impersonalism, and atheism are very prevalent in the West. And so, because of the academic community's influence on the masses of people and the atheistic academic professors who have ranked high positions, therefore, it's most people uh, in general conversation you will not talk about God or religion, and if you do, that's like it's a real heavy subject. People just generally don't want to go there. They're actually they're caught up in this their life, their which is economic development. In other words, trying to make money to provide for their lifestyle in order to be happy by making the body happy through gratifying the different senses, namely making sure you have food on the table, tongue, belly, making sure you have a proper mate, genitals. So that's their primary concern, and also the eyes and the mind, keeping the movies and television and music going. So as long as all those things are taken care of, that's the Western train. Everyone's running, full speed blast, trying to take care of all these necessities. And if you mention God, then I don't know if we want to talk about that. Everyone's got a different opinion about that, and blah blah blah, and So yeah, it's not an easy place for a person who's trying to share to others ways that they can reconnect with God, or ways that they can cultivate that relationship internally with the Supreme Person, with the Supreme Lord, who has many names. Krishna, Allah, Buddha, Jehovah, many names, but only one actual being that being referred to, the original being that all beings emanated from. So someone may be saying, well, wait a second, like you're saying that, but there's many different opinions and this and that and arguments which are being presented from your mind. And to that analysis, we offer the analysis of the ascending method and the descending method. The ascending method is the method which we acquire knowledge democratically, based on what we think and see and experience. And there are certain things we can obtain with that path, or that system of acquiring knowledge, but the limitations are the four limitations of all humans, which is, senses are not perfect. I cannot see beyond a certain range. I have a certain range of sensory ability to obtain information. Tendency to fall under illusion. I think it's something is a certain way, but it's actually not. Example I use is you think it's Monday, but it's Tuesday. You fall under illusion. Thought it was the day it wasn't. Tendency to cheat others, cheat ourselves. Go to high school, go to, take a test. We have that tendency, and the tendency to make mistakes. So you combine those together, you could get 1,000 million humans. They've still all got the same defects. So any ability that they are, even if you put all their heads together, any knowledge they can acquire is still going to be tainted. It's not going to be considered perfect or absolute because it's tainted by that. However, there is absolute knowledge that descends from the absolute realm, and so receiving that knowledge is called the descending method. Receiving that knowledge requires one to be humble and receive it as it descends to you from the absolute realm. And so one can do that by not being the judge, by taking oneself off of the position of being the Lord or being the judge, and through that humility, actually receiving it from the three sources that it descends from. And actually all three sources have to corroborate, and that's how you know something is true from the descending method. It's not just a, oh, well, this guy told me that, and, it said, it's descending, and it sounded great, and yeah. And you actually have to do the work yourself to check in revealed scripture, holy literature, saintly person, sadhu, self-realized individuals, and Paramatma, the Lord in the heart. The Atma is the self, or the soul, the person residing in the body. Atma. And then Para, supreme, Atma. Atma, Paramatma. So you have two beings. They're residing eternally in the heart, the living entity, alongside each other. So you have this Paramatma feature of the Supreme. And he is always trying to guide you, always your well-wisher, always wanting your eternal benefit. He's actually your best friend, and he's doesn't like to see you suffering and miserable, but he understands that is your freedom to live independently from him. And if you so choose, then there's no other thing you will experience other than loneliness, suffering, anxiety, misery, because he is the reservoir of happiness and satisfaction. And so if you go away from the reservoir into the desert, automatically you disconnected from the source of your deep inner fulfillment, happiness, and satisfaction. So you need to turn around and go back to him and just stay at the reservoir. That's the conclusion of all intelligent, self-realized individuals. Stay linked up into this connection where the Supreme Lord, the Paramatma, is the central enjoying agent, and you are simply a person who is assisting in his role, his central enjoying role, So in whatever small way that you're connected to Him and serving in that way and in love, that will be satisfying to you in itself because of His feature as he's called Rama, one who by rendering loving service to, one receives transcendental pleasure from, the reservoir of all transcendental pleasure, of all happiness. Not just talking about like, oh, I feel really happy today, it's great, and then the next day, oh, I feel bad. Not like that. Transcendental happiness, like permanent. It doesn't go away. It's a non-stop. It's a 24-hour. Once you achieve that, it doesn't disappear. It's a permanent achievement. It's not like a light switch. You just flip it on and then boom, you're enlightened. It's like a gradual dimming. It's like a dimmer switch. You're gradually turning up the light. So how do you turn up the light? Well, in this day and age, there's a recommended process known as Shravanam Kirtanam, or hearing and chanting of sacred sounds, which are cleansing and purifying to the heart and mind, just like the dimmer switch is like slowly turning it up. So every day, you take a shower for your body, you should be engaged in hearing and chanting these transcendental vibrations. Any person with intelligence will actually take to this practice with sincerity and seriousness, because it is more important than anything else that you will ever do your entire life. Because at the end of your life, you have to leave the body, and the only thing you will take with you is anything that you have gained, any closeness on your path back home, back to the spiritual world, back to the Supreme Lord. So why not start right now, even if you have no attraction, even if it's very difficult to hear and chant this mantra? Why not start now? There's no reason you should not start right now and begin to cultivate that and do your best every day. You start a small practice, 5 to 10 minutes per day, and then you slowly grow that. Make your goal within the year to be doing 30 minutes per day. It's very easy. And then 1 hour per day. Very easy. And then as much as you want. I practice about 2 hours per day or more. 2 hours solitude meditation, and even more. Your life will just become a constant meditation. Non-stop meditation. Even when not meditating, you'll be remembering. There are there's 9 different processes, but hearing and chanting is the most important. So that's what we're focusing on. So we'll use this mantra. Haribol Nitai Gaur Haribol. And you can say it along with me, and we'll just practice this for another 1 minute and a half. Haribol Nitai Gaur Haribol. 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 Haribol Nitai Gaur Nitai Gaur, Haribo. One more time. Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur, Haribo. So keep practicing this on your own every day. If you have more questions, then feel free to contact me. Thank you very much. Namaste.